What's up, good people? It's your boy Timo with the dance move.
And it's Tim, the popcorn player.
All right. And you are listening to
Banana Juice.
So thankful that you're tuning in with your boys. We have a great show planned for you today. We're talking about our favorite subject, but we'll get into that in a minute. Right now, let's get into these throwaways.
Oh, I love trash.
R. Kelly decided that he was going to drop a 19-minute song, almost 20-minute song, called I Admit, where he goes through and he discusses a lot of the topics that have been in the media and in the tabloids about him. But to be honest, when you come down to what he admitted, did he actually admit what he wanted him to admit?
Absolutely not.
Not really. Not really.
The excuse was, my lawyers said I can't say it, but I was like, okay. Like, I listened to 16 minutes of that song and just felt like that was 16 minutes of my life that I could never get back.
Now, I'll say this. There were two things that really stood out as far as things that nobody really knew about. And honestly, after you hear the whole thing, it's like, seem more like excuses. The first thing was that he's dyslexic, doesn't know how to read. And like just talking about he didn't read all the stuff in his contract and all that stuff. Yeah. And then the second part of it was that he was molested or raped at a young age, which is sad and which does explain his behavior.
Some of it.
But I can't read.
Like,
come on, man.
That was one thing that I didn't understand. Like, I get that you like almost became broke at some point, but the fact that you borrowed millions of dollars from your studio, and like you said you almost had your house repossessed, and you almost had your cars, like almost had to sell your cars or whatever. Like, you telling me that you couldn't buy a tutor?
Right.
Like that. Yeah. Somebody could have taught you how to read.
Come on, you got a whole basement full of sex slaves and a woman to teach them how to please you in the bedroom, but none of them can teach you how to read? My baby can read ain't that much money. So there's zero excuses.
Like, bro, you could have learned another language with the money you were making.
Exactly.
Like, you really no excuse. You spend it on some stupid stuff.
Now, and my whole thing with that, with the whole I admit and people feeling bad for him, like I don't really feel bad for him because that's not an excuse for dating a 14-year-old girl in Aaliyah.
Yeah.
And talking about that's love. That ain't love. She don't even know herself to know what love is. 2, peeing on this little girl in the sex tape.
Right.
And then 3, keeping these women in your basement as your sex slaves. It does not excuse
and then
of
to
that.
say like I got respect for women, but why y'all trying to mute me and blah blah blah. It's like through the whole song you talking about how you doing women wrong.
Yeah.
Like how you cheated on your girlfriend with her best friend and had sex with your girlfriend's best friend in the backseat of your car.
Right.
Then like how you
Sounds
just
more like bragging to me.
like how you saying like you lied to him and you admit that you done them wrong. Like how?
Yeah.
Like,
and then on top of all of that, his ex-wife Drea, I think that's her name, it might be Drea, she posted basically just bashing him, saying like you're not a father to your children, so you need to admit that.
Yeah, that he treats his children like fans.
Yeah, he treats his children like fans, and then he says, she writes like a whole remix to the song on her Instagram, and so it says, even though you can't read or write, it didn't stop you from making them hits, but you don't have to read and write to know domestic violence is wrong. So I mean,
wow.
She's got a pretty good point because she did say that he used to beat her. So R. Kelly, you still muted, man. We ain't feeling this. I admit it, and people who are really bopping to it and saying like, yeah, this is the jam. It's something wrong with you, and you need to be muted too. So Planet Fitness had a little
oh my goodness
mishap where they had a naked man was arrested for exercising. and in a Planet Fitness. And so when they got him, he said, "I thought this was a judgment-free zone."
And right on the sign,
Right on the side,
it says judgment-free zone. Like it's just
everywhere.
wrong. But I mean, it's a thing like judgment-free, but also like when you have like your bare butthole on a yoga mat and
Right.
stuff
Yeah,
like
he was
that.
doing yoga positions.
Like it's also a health issue.
Yeah.
So,
You don't want people to get pink eye while you doing your downward dog.
but he probably gonna try and sue them for like arresting him. Like, no, man, that's false advertising.
False
You can't say judgment free and then you judge me.
But look, I am a member of Planet Fitness, believe it or not. And so next time I go, I'm going to look for a sign that says shirt, shoes, pants are required, because I've never seen that sign. So he might have a case. He might have a case.
He might, but you know, if you ever gonna use a yoga mat, wipe it down.
Oh, speaking of people who might have a case, or more so against him, President Trump, his former lawyer has released a tape where they're talking about paying a porn star, a former Playmate model, for sex. And so one that he had vehemently denied before, and now it's, no. It turns out that you did do that while you were while your wife was pregnant. That's the thing. It was either while she was pregnant or like right after she had given birth. And so he's proven to be a liar, but the week gets worse. So you got that. Then after that, his star gets destroyed. With somebody destroyed it with a pickaxe. Like, nah, this is gone. This is the Hollywood Walk of Fame star, gone. And then on top of that, what really grinded his gears is on Air Force One, when he was walking through, he caught Melania, his wife, watching CNN. And sources say that he threw a fit over that.
So he got to stopping in his Air Force One.
Big boy. Basically. But hey, this is what happens. This is what happens when you are a jerk to so many people. Like, that stuff comes back around on you.
I mean, wow, that's crazy though. Like all of that stuff is crazy to like another porn star.
Yeah.
Jeez, that man was on his TI. He's like
porn star.
Come on, man. Like,
But look, man, all I'm saying is the funny and the funny looking are winning right now. Birdman got Tony Braxton, Stevie
goodness.
J got
Faith Evans.
and here you are, Trump. Say what you want, man, but he pulling. Now he got to pull out his checkbook afterwards, but
Right.
you know, as, like the good king says, it is what it is.
My goodness.
So those were your throwaways.
I love them because they're trash.
All right, getting into the main squeeze. So this week, Tim and I and BK, we were all talking about the 2019 movies that we're excited to see, and on that list is a live action Lion King, and then we hear that there's a live action Aladdin coming.
Yeah.
And so like it's just getting us all nostalgic about our favorite movies. And so we compiled our list separately, and we're going to talk about them today on the show, of the greatest Disney movies, and then another list of the greatest Disney soundtracks. So I'll do my movies first, and you do your movies, then you do your
All right.
soundtracks. And
All
we'll work it like that. So starting from 5 and going up, favorite Disney movies. Number 5 has to be a Goofy movie. Just because I related so much to Max, you know, young awkward man getting it going in high school, trying to get the girl of his dreams, go on a wild adventure with his dad. You know, good movie. Number 4, my 5 and 4 are both sleepers. Number 4 is Aristocats.
Yeah.
You know, Aristocats. That you got the little cute kittens. It made me like cats for that one moment, because I don't like cats. Look, I don't like cats and I don't like dogs. And my number 5 is dogs, and my number 4 is cats. But Aristocats, it's interesting. Aristocats is number 4. Number 3 is Beauty and the Beast. No, I mean, no explanation needed there. Number 2 is Aladdin. And then number 1 is, of course, if there's an argument on this, then you are just slow, because the number 1 Disney movie of all time has to be The Lion King.
Well,
Has to be The Lion King.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like we are kind of similar on our top 3.
Okay.
But my number 5 is Robin Hood.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
Robin Hood. It was just a classic. I mean, some people sleep on it. So Robin Hood is good.
The classic whistle.
And number 4, that is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I mean,
you know what that is? That is slept on, and I guess because in my mind it just seemed like it was a little long, but
it's like when you actually watch it, like they had like some really good songs in there, and the storyline was really good.
Yeah,
like I liked it.
Okay,
and of course number 3, Beauty and the Beast, 2, Aladdin, and number 1, Lion King. Like, gotta be.
That's obvious. Like your 3 and 2 could probably interchange, but that should be your top 3. If at least if you are over the age of, I'll say 28. That should be that should be your top 3. Now we're gonna go into where I know the two of us disagree, and it's probably gonna be the bulk of our conversation today. Top 3. We're not gonna do top 5. I have a top 5, but we're gonna do top 3 Disney soundtracks, and this is only cartoons, and we are not including Pixar. So no Disney, Pixar. That was for the movies and for the soundtrack. So Tim, let's hear yours.
All right. So my number 3 is Aladdin. My number 2 is Beauty and the Beast, and my number 1 is The Lion King.
Okay. Now. Here's my top 3, and this is going to be interesting. So my top 3, our number 3 is the same. Number 3 is Aladdin. Number 2 is Beauty and the Beast, and my number 1 is a Goofy movie. A Goofy movie is when you're talking about soundtracks. When you are talking about soundtracks, a Goofy movie is number 1. Not the number 1 movie, but you're talking about the music, the songs, playability. It's got to be a Goofy movie.
I mean, a Goofy movie is in my top 5. I'd say that.
Lion King's in my top 5.
I can't say that would be like my number 1 go-to. I just feel like, to me, more memorable songs are in The Lion King than a Goofy movie.
And here's the thing. I will, what you remember is not so much the songs. What you remember are the scenes. You remember the movie, and because the movie is so iconic, we make it seem like the songs are iconic. But when you're talking about vocals, when we're talking about vocals on the songs, when we're talking about just, could I put this on a random playlist and get hype? For The Lion King, you got maybe one song. Maybe one song where you could do that. But for a Goofy movie, you definitely have 2. You definitely have 2, and I would argue like more so 3, maybe even 4. We'll make it on a couple of playlists. Look, Tim, Powerline is,
I would say,
the greatest voice of Disney songs. The greatest voice of all Disney soundtracks has to come from Powerline. I would like to see
hold
you
on.
argue that.
We
argue against that.
We are talking about like animated cartoon.
Yes, the
like
animated.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
because I know from what he said, people would be like, no, like we're just talking about the animated movies. We're not talking about live action or Disney Pixar. I mean, even with Disney Pixar, like I don't know. I don't know about that, but. Like, we're talking about, like, the cartoon movies.
We
like,
got that.
Basically classic.
Yes. And
so
Powerline is number 1. No one is touching Powerline. And even the music that goes behind it, for Eye to Eye, dun, 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 dun. Look, that song gets it going off the rip.
I'm not going to lie. Tevin Campbell did tear it up as Powerline.
Yes.
Like, he did. I just don't know if I like, to me, like, yeah, I did like the songs in the Goofy movie.
Yes, the
Don't
songs
get me
were
wrong. I love the songs in the Goofy movie, but like when a conversation about it comes up, like the only two songs I could really just be like, you know what, I'd listen to those like right now are the two songs that are sung by Tevin Campbell, aka Powerline.
But for I can't think of any song where I would be like, oh, I want to listen to that right now for The Lion King. Like, honestly, not one. Where, like, on a random day, I want to play this song.
Man, The Circle of Life
Get
was a
outta
moving
here.
song.
Get
I
outta
don't
here.
like.
Ain't nobody trying to listen to The Circle of Life.
And Hakuna Matata
get
puts
their day
everybody in like the best mood ever.
Hakuna Matata is a good song, but it's a good song for the movie. If you take it out of the movie, it's not that great.
It's a fun-loving song. Like, it's a kids' movie. Like, kids would love to sing that song.
Hakuna Matata. Okay, you tell me the top bops for a Lion King, and I'll tell you the top bops for a Goofy movie, and we'll put them toe to toe. Let's go. What you got?
Okay. We got.
And it got to be bops. Like, this joint is bumping. I just feel like I have to because a Circle of Life is not bumping.
Okay.
A Circle of Life is not bumping.
I'm going to make this right here. If the songs weren't so bumping, then why would they make a Broadway play out of that movie? It's not just because the movie is iconic, but it's because
story.
But it's also because of the music. I'm like they wouldn't make a Broadway musical out of it if the music itself wasn't great.
Okay, I got you, but the thing is, nobody can touch Powerline, so that's why that's not a Goofy movie. Soundtrack.
No, time out. Time out. Obviously,
musical.
you hadn't been to these Broadway plays. Somebody could pull off a Powerline voice.
I mean, that's a good point.
On Broadway.
But a Goofy movie is a slept-on movie, though. It's a slept-on movie. It's a slept-on story. And when you talk about if you are combining story and music that goes with that, first of all, you have to admit that The Lion King's music is more theatrical than a Goofy movie's music. And then
I give you
the
that.
story
I give
is
you
better,
that.
and the story plays out better on stage than a Goofy movie would.
I don't know. I would love to see somebody on Broadway do the perfect cast.
I mean, yeah,
I would love to see that.
But think about all the scene changes in a Goofy movie. And like that would be very difficult to do on Broadway.
I mean, they did Legally Blonde on Broadway.
I understand, but the story for Legally Blonde, where was she? She was at college and then she was at Harvard.
Harvard is a college.
Yeah, that is right. She was at one college and then she was at Harvard.
She was at a bunch of places.
Yeah, but I mean those stories just lend themselves, and then you also got to think about costuming and all of that. Well, I can't say that because it's very
Broadway.
very elaborate costume it is. But the point is just the story wise. That this is why a Goofy movie wasn't at the very very top of my stories. It was like 5.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
The story is okay. The music really more so puts it at number 5 for me for movies. But when you talk about soundtrack, that's where it gets that jump, and it's number 1.
Okay. Well, I will give you that Lion King and a Goofy movie are kind of in different categories when it comes to music, because Lion King is more of a theatrical thing.
Yeah.
And a Goofy movie is more of,
it's playful.
Yeah.
It's playful and it's more fun loving.
Right.
But so tell me the bops for a Lion King, and then we'll get this going.
Okay. So, Circle of Life.
That's not a bop.
I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
That's more of a bop.
I thought we were talking. Okay, so just straight up bops. Okay.
Yes, just straight up.
All right. I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
Okay.
Be Prepared. That's
I
a
do
bop.
have to give you that. That arguably the greatest villain song in all of Disney. I will give you that.
Let's see. Hakuna Matata,
I'll give you that.
and like, Can You Feel the Love Tonight is more of a jam. It's not. It's like a slow jam. It's not a bop. But I say those three are the bops.
Okay, now, now, here are my bops for a Goofy movie. You have After Today, which I would match After Today up against I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Those are two very similar songs, and I would give it to After Today over I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Now, as far as in the movie when you saw it, what visually was better, I would say the visuals from A Lion King were way better than Max just going to school. I'll give you that. But when we're talking about the song, After Today, then you have Stand Out. Stand Out, if we put that on Hakuna Matata, we max that up against Hakuna Matata. Stand Out kills Hakuna Matata.
Mm-hmm.
And you know I'm saving the haymaker for last. You know the haymaker is Eye to Eye. Eye to Eye is that haymaker that destroys you cannot there is not one song you can put up against Eye to Eye that would be like, oh, this is better than Eye to Eye.
Yeah, I can't think of like any other newer Disney movies either.
It's not one. It's not one. It's not one song that matches up to Eye to Eye. If you're talking about strong vocals and like when you like, ooh, they sang that song, the only other song that I can say would even come close as far as vocally would be Let It Go. Let It Go and Frozen. That would be the only song that I would say kind of comes close to Eye to Eye.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, for those reasons, it has to be number one. It has to be number one.
Well, we gonna leave it at that. I'm still putting it as like two different genres then, like theatrical and just fun loving. So
I mean,
I if we're gonna do it like just fun loving, like Goofy movie would go up there. I mean, it is in my top 5, but
Goofy movie number 1. Now we do have where it's the because Aladdin made my top 3 before Lion King. It is because I just feel like it's really the same reasons. Lion King is one of the most serious Disney movies, which is why it stood the test of time.
Yeah.
And so because it's so serious, too many of the songs are like super serious or overly theatrical and not fun enough. The only 2 fun songs on there is I Just Can't Wait to Be King and Hakuna Matata.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, like that.
I know so.
The Morning Report song, I wasn't even feeling that. Like they could have kept that to themselves. Like I felt like that took away from the movie. Like when they added that to like the special edition one, like I always go and play the original version and not that one because I was like, this Morning Report song is some booty. Y'all really know y'all could have done without it.
Now, had they put that, I've got the lovely bunch of coconuts. If they had that on there, I was like, all right, that's a bop.
Oh, and the hula song.
The hula song, what's
yeah,
that?
that Timon and Pumbaa did.
Oh yeah, see, they left some golden stuff off of that. Like even if it was just a little in between thing, like that, could have been up there. But you know, the scores of A Lion King is what people were like
yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's Titanic. I don't know what I was doing, but you know, but yeah,
they had like some of those things.
They had some of those, but I was about to say something, but I forgot. So I guess I'm going to move on. So, I mean, you all continue to debate, you know, in the comments, whatever. Just let us know what your top 3 Disney musicals, Disney soundtracks are, and let us know what your top 5 Disney movies are of all time.
And by all means, like, go and listen to some of these songs that we named, especially like a Goofy movie, because that is a slept-on movie.
It's a slept-on movie, man.
Go and listen to some of these things that we're saying, because I mean, I feel like it's too many people who bring up these newer Disney movies now and put it in like the top 3 and say, "Oh, this was the best Disney movie." Like,
but you forget.
I really wish you.
Y'all must have forgot.
I really wish you wouldn't. Like, please don't. Like, once you say certain stuff like that, then like the conversation just ends for me.
Yeah,
because I don't trust you as a person. I'm like, no, if once you say Frozen was the best Disney movie, then I'm like, okay, like like we can't talk about this.
We can talk soundtrack though. We can talk soundtrack because I think Frozen makes my top 5 soundtracks. It makes my top 5, but yeah,
it's a good soundtrack.
Good
but
soundtrack.
as far as movie wise, like, it's a good movie, but it's not one of the best.
No.
Like, don't do it.
So that was our main squeeze. Tim, why don't you tell the people who's got the juice this week?
All right, so I'm giving the juice to 2 people, but it's for the same situation, really.
Okay.
So these 2 people are in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The first one is Jaquan Faulkner. He's a 13-year-old that started his own hot dog stand back in 2016. He did it because he was like just dealing with depression, and he just started selling hot dogs and I believe water in Minneapolis, Minnesota, just so he can raise some money to buy some clothes. Like, he wanted to buy like some new outfits for himself, and to like he used it as a way to like deal with his depression. Now, while doing that, there was a citizen that called in on him, saying that he was doing this without a permit.
Somebody, they still calling on children.
Hold on. But this is where the story takes a turn. All right. So once, and this is the second person I'm giving the juice to. So once Dan Huff, the environmental health director in Minneapolis, Minnesota, heard about this, he, instead of shutting down Faulkner, he and the rest of the people in Minneapolis, Minnesota, actually worked to get him a permit.
Wow.
And to help him start his own business.
Okay.
So they sent him through training. They got him a thermometer to make sure that his food was the right temperature and he was serving it correctly. They even got him like a hand sanitizing unit so he can like use that to be working with people's food. So that way his stand was up to health code. And now they've even started a GoFundMe page to help him to get a mobile hot dog stand, so that way he can like travel and do this.
Wow.
And with it, and they paid for his permit too.
That's awesome, man.
So with all that, and this is where another shout out to Jaquan Faulkner goes out. With that, with the money that he's raising, he said that what he's going to do is he's going to donate a certain percentage of the money he makes to a depression fund. Wow. To help out others that are dealing with depression. And he's also putting a big chunk of it into his college fund as well. Mm. So this this 13-year-old is like now an entrepreneur with like a huge business plan in mind. He's like setting himself up for a successful future. And I was just glad that, you know, instead of using this as a way to shut a child down, especially a child that's like trying to deal with depression, you know, in a positive way, just rallying behind him, and giving him the tools to succeed. I had to give it to them, like the governors, the health department, like everyone that played a part in, you know, helping Jaquan succeed in this. Like even the people that have given to his GoFundMe page. I just have to say, like, shout out to y'all. And the name of his business, I think it's called Mr. Faulkner's Old Fashioned Hot Dog Stand or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like Jaquan, let me see, Jaquan and Dan Huff and everyone that supported Jaquan in this. What you all get the juice of today, and my hat goes off to you. So Jaquan and Dan Huff,
you got the juice now, man.
And now it's time for the thing you've been waiting for your whole week. Your problematic top 5. Oh, so this week, since we decided we were talking about Disney movies and our favorite Disney movies, favorite Disney soundtracks, we figured we would do the top 5 human beings who would also work as Disney villains. Let's get it.
All right, so number 5, we have Donald Trump as Gaston. Why? Because he's full of himself. He thinks no one's better than him. No one's great as D. Trump. No one. You know,
and then
all
Mike
about
Pence is
man.
the little dude.
Yeah.
The little dude.
So, and you know, no one grabs a handful of vagina like the. So, you know, like you gotta straight up give that to Trump. Like he's a living and breathing Gaston. So, Trump is Gaston. Number 5.
Number 4, Taylor Swift as Ursula. Yes, Ursula from The Little Mermaid, who was stealing voices from people, because Taylor Swift definitely needs to steal someone else's voice because hers is not working for her. She went from country music where people didn't like her, and then she moved on to pop, and some people liked her. Then, oh, what you gonna do? You gonna take Earth, Wind, and Fire song and make it trash? Come on, Ursula. I mean, Taylor Swift. You know better than that.
Poor unfortunate songs. Oh my goodness. No. All right, number 3, we have Birdman as Rapunzel's mom, aka Gothel. Now, y'all wondering why Rapunzel's mom?
Yes, we are.
Because Birdman really was just riding on the coattails of Lil Wayne for the longest. He kept him in the singing booth, like they kept Rapunzel in the towel. Like, hey, Playboy, make mama some hits. Come on.
The Prince Drake was showing up like, let down, get Drake.
Louise, let down your golden dread. Okay, baby. Okay, daddy, I let it down for you. Like, hey, Tony, I'm coming down from Diddy Weezy. Come eat my boot hole.
That works though. It works. Number 2, Monique as Scar. Now, I'm not calling Monique ugly or anything, but first of all, it's been a while since we got on Monique's head, so we gotta do it today. Okay, so Monique is Scar because here you have Scar who is jealous because he's not getting the attention that he feels like he deserves. Monique feeling like she ain't got the check she deserves. And then what did he do? Plan to kill the king. What did she do? Plan to kill Netflix. And then Monique, just really quickly, cut the music. Monique, how in the world are you going to defend Roseanne calling this black woman a monkey, saying that she's not racist and she's your sister in comedy, but you want to go so hard after Netflix for offering your washed up behind $500,000 for a comedy special that was only going to be half funny? You trifling person. Stop talking about this king's of comedy because that crown is rusted. It's like Captain D's stuff, you know, like it's just, oh, nobody fooling with it. I don't get the Captain D's reference now, but just Monique, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. You are Scar. You are Scar, and somebody's gonna come and knock you off of Pride Rock into the fire, and the hyenas that you stirred up to go against Netflix will eat you alive because you decided that you were gonna die on the sword of Roseanne's racism. Cut the music back on.
Okay. And number one, we got Bill Cosby as Maleficent. Why Maleficent, you ask? Well, because Bill Cosby was after them Sleeping Beauties.
Got a fistful of poison apples dropping in your drink.
He was trying to give them a prick so they could go to sleep. Don't you make me out to be Maleficent. It's all you, Bill. It's all you.
I was wrong because I was thinking the queen from Snow White.
Yeah. No, you got pricked on the spin. Bill Cosby just walking in front of you. Now sleep.
That's horrible. So those were your problematic top. That was your problematic top 5 of the week. We want to thank you all for tuning in this week to
Banana Juice.
Before we sign out, for those of you who are rocking with us on Apple Podcast or on SoundCloud, make sure that you are liking. Make sure you are commenting. Make sure you are sharing, especially on Apple Podcasts. Rate us. Rate the podcast. Leave a review. Do all that stuff because we want the feedback. We want the feedback. We want to get better. We want to see who all's rocking with us. We want to see what you like about the show as we are heading into the last half of the first season. So, just communicate. Yeah, communicate to us, Also, don't forget to follow our page on Facebook at Banana Juice TNT. We're going to be dropping a couple of live videos. This week, we're going to be dropping, we're going to go live and do a taste testing for banana juice. Yeah. We have a live tasting of the Titanic from last week. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you like it. Make sure you follow us. Until then, it's your boy.
Wait. And before we go, also, like, if any of you all have someone that you feel like deserves the juice of the week, feel free to comment and let us know. Hit us up. We'll definitely like to know what's going on in your neighborhood, who you feel like deserves some shine. So just let us know, and we will go through it, and they can possibly be the ones that we give the juice of the week to.
Yeah, email us at thisisbananajuice@gmail.com. This is bananajuice@gmail.com. Until then, it's your boy Timo with the dance moves.
And it's Tim, the popcorn player.
Banana juice
out.
Cut up the banana.